Hey everybody, it's New Civil War Reenactor with a quicker, shorter video on making flagstaffs. So the supplies you're going to need some linseed oil, looks like this, that's for the weathering, and also just to make this, the staff more durable. You're going to need some glue, essentially to affix the staff to the finial, whatever you're using. In this case, I'm using a spear tip, which is accurate. If you get a finial book, there's several that they make on the Civil War. It'll tell you which ones are accurate for which company you're representing. You'll need some sponges to spread the linseed oil. You can see I've got some gloves on the ground as well, just so I don't get that on my hands. The actual staff is an 8-foot staff. You can get that from Home Depot or Lowe's. It's going to be in poplar. That's what you're going to grab. To be historically correct, you'd want white ash, and you'd want it to be 9 feet, but you're not going to see anything that's already, let's say, in a kind of this dowel shape at those places that's over 8 feet. So with the finial on top, it gets close to 9 feet anyway. Again, nothing was done exact in the Civil War, whether it was flags or flag staffs, but again, we want to get as accurate as possible. And then you'll need a sander. You can see that on the ground. I'm just using a cheap belt sander, and that's just to sand off the top. So let me go through the process. All right, here at the preparation point. So here's where you do the sanding. You're just going to choose the label side, so you might as well, sand off that label while we're at it. But we're just going to take as smooth a motion as possible to make basically a pointy end. So you can see I'm just gonna basically use the power of the sander to eventually make this into a very smooth tip. I'm not gonna take you through the whole process, but all I'm gonna do is round this off, make it smooth till it gets to a point. I'll show you the recording here in a second. All right, we now have a nice rounded tip. You can see I did the best I could. It's, again, I don't think it has to be perfect. There's probably imperfections in the staffs anyways, but I've made it as best I could shaped to this so that it would fit over nicely. I mean, if it'll sit on its own like this, then you know you're at a pretty good state. So now I can begin the gluing process. I'm gonna glue it first before I put on the linseed oil. I just found that if you do it the other way, it kind of leaves weird splotchiness. So on to that. All right, we are back and I'm gonna do the gluing process. So again, I'm just gonna take probably a little bit inside of here. It's a 2-in-1 solution, as well as a little bit on here. And then I'm gonna have it dry upright. So let's do this real quick. No, that's not what I want to do. Best to not do this over cement either. I learned that the hard way. It left massive stains on my driveway. So word to the wise there. Let's do this. It's all over. All right. This is how you want to let it dry. You want to find like a drain pipe or something on your wall so that the glue, if it comes out, seeps down. The first time I did this, I put it like horizontal to the ground and the finial started turning sideways. And this is another reason we do linseed last, because I can sand off that glue residue before I put on the linseed. All right, we're back here now, ready to do the final touches. This is the linseed. You see up with the painter's tape around the top, I've sanded off some of the blotchy glue spots as best of my ability. So now it's just lathering it up, get it off the ground like this, and get going. You're just going to continue that process of rotating the pole until it's fully lathered. And this is your finished product. Looks pretty good. Pretty smooth.